First of all, we were glad to get the win against a very good basketball team in Louisiana. When you have a guard of that caliber in Peyton, I mean, it kind of reminds me of that kid that played at Syracuse, the Carter Williams kid. It's hard to stay in front of a guy like that, and he can make some things happen. We did a great job of getting long and in foul trouble, and I thought that had an effect on the game. But they came out with great energy, made shots, made the first 6 shots. And we were kind of in a hole early on. I thought we didn't come out with the energy that you got to come out with. And that's why I say sometimes you can't look at the names on the jerseys, man. These teams are good. And when you got a player like that caliber, and we know, we've seen a lot of players. But give our guys credit. They hung in there and hung in there. And I thought the wear and tear of keeping guys coming at him. Not only Peyton, but also coming in at the big kid, Sean Long. I thought we did a good job. Landis did a good job of coming off the bench and attacking him and getting him in foul trouble. And it's a 1-point game at halftime, and there's a half we want to win. It's that second half, and I thought the second half fatigue was a big factor in it, and we had one of those spurts right there at the end. And that's the great thing about how we play. You don't know when it's coming, but if you can just kind of hang around and hang in there, it eventually will come. So it's a good win against a good team. Bob Marlin does a great job with them, and they would be a dangerous team, I think, come March, and especially in the Sun Belt.
What is it Landis brought to you as far as a comfort factor, especially in the first half?
Well, Landis is an experienced guy. He's a man. I'd say he's a man. He can score, obviously, in a lot of different ways. He's going to be a guy that's going to shoot a lot of free throws. And that's why I tell him, keep working on your free throws. Just has a knack for, getting to the back. He's a face-up forward. Every now and then he'll step out and he can knock a shot. Kind of challenged him on that one. He had a step-back 3, and I'm like, whoa, we don't do that, man. But he just brings a toughness that you got to have. And it allows our other guys to hopefully get on his back. And it was good to see him get back in there. He was inserted there at the end. And he made some outstanding plays. And that, to me, is a sign of him understanding, what he brings to the table. Not necessarily his offense, but defense, too. He gets rebounds, tough rebounds.
Mike, so what do you think about Coach Marlin coming over to you with 6 seconds left?
Say it again?
What did you think of Coach Marlin coming over to you with 6 seconds left in the game?
I actually thought the game was over with, and you just said good game, and I guess he got tired of watching it. So, but it was kind of weird. But I thought the clock had 0-0 on it. I didn't know what was going on. So I'm sure it probably sometimes frustrations get the best of you. And we had a great run going down the stretch. I think it was like a 17-3 or 17-something run. We changed our defense, and I thought it kind of threw them off kilter a little bit. But one thing we was consistent with was our pressure defense. And that's the thing about it. They're going to attack you, and they're going to make some plays, and they did early on. But it was a good test for us and a good ball game.
I suppose it's going to be harder to get charges this year, but you guys got 3 charges at a real critical time. I think all 3 of them are on Peyton. Just talk about those guys taking those charges, how big that was.
Well, credit our guys. Our defense is disrupted and gets you out of kilter. And when fatigue comes in, you just keep going. Early in the game, those were fouls. Our guys are almost getting there. But our guys did a good job in the second half of making that adjustment. So when Peyton was coming in there, he was trying to get to the basket, trying to get to the free throw line, and I think a few of those were probably Kiko. Kiko probably got a couple of them. I think Landis got one, and that's what I'm saying. It gets contagious when you start taking charges, and that's a sign of a team that's willing to sacrifice, because you just think about what a charge does. I mean, it puts a personal foul, a team foul, a lot of things take place. You take away the opportunity for them to score, it's a turnover. I mean, that's 4 things right there, and we get the opportunity to score on the other end. Those are big plays, and if you take 3 of them in a game, especially in the second half, it can really change momentum.
Fat man could put up big numbers, but what did you think of this night? It seemed like he was kind of a steady factor.
Kai's going to have that effect. He's a common force. He's a finisher, and Kai didn't even practice yesterday. Kai's been under the weather, and so for him to come out and, he didn't go at all yesterday. For the last couple of days, he's been really sick. Had a bug. It's one of those bugs, and I was surprised he even suited up. But once we get him and get some food in him and get him back in a rhythm of playing in games, without a doubt, that makes our team even better. because he's a guy that can get other guys involved.
Hey, what do you think of Paul's game tonight? And Lafayette?
Played all around game. He played a lot of minutes in that second half, and but he was playing. He was playing basketball. He was guarding Peyton. He was rebounding the basketball. He was dunking it. He was just active. Had 8 rebounds. So you just see a guy that's continued to evolve and evolving in a way where he's doing a lot of other things. It ain't just with scoring. A lot of guys are just scoring. Now he's doing a variety of things, and that variety of things is making us a much better basketball team because you got another weapon there. You got him on that wing. You got a guy like Landis coming off the bench. We know what Bobby Portis is capable of doing. It's just a matter of time. So you get the forwards playing at that level there. You get the guards now start to step up. Mardrakus Wade came in and gave us some great minutes. And that's where that experience comes in and really helps our basketball team. And I keep saying the spark plug is the guy Kiko Hadar. I thought right there going down the stretch, it may be a 3 or 4 point game. They get an offensive rebound and they make a bounce pass and he touches the ball. We come up with it and score. I thought that was a big play in this particular game, and that's what I mean, guys getting dirty. We're out there getting dirty tonight.
Mike, do you feel like Portis took a kind of a step up with his confidence and stuff tonight?
In the second half, I thought the second half, I challenged him at halftime. I thought he wasn't playing athletic. I didn't think he was playing with that aggressiveness that we see in practice each and every day. But in the second half, he was more assertive and playing like he's capable. He started protecting the rim on the backside. Early in the game, they were just scoring layups, guys, and we had guys in position. The second half was a different story. They only scored 25 points. So that to me is a credit to our guys making that subtle adjustment. Defending, and now let's come up with those loose balls. And we came up with more of them in the second half than we did in the first half.
Landis comes in, he hits a pretty big basket, good charge, block the shot. Just talk about all the stuff he adds.
Well, Bob, the great thing about that is just think he had been sitting on the bench. He had been sitting on the bench for quite a while. So to me, now he's got energy. He's rested. And that group came in and they finished the game out in a fine fashion. And that to me is understanding, the difference between the quality minutes. I mean, he sat there, and while the game was going back and forth, we had a group that really got us going back and forth, and then we inserted those guys in, and they came in, and Cody fouled out. So now all of a sudden, Landis said, hey, I need to help this team by making plays. But he had the energy to finish it out. The energy is so important. And so the guys that came off the bench, if you go back and just name those guys, I thought they were probably, if I had a game ball, they would get it. Those guys that came off the bench, along with a guy like Michael Quall, Bakiko, Wade, Ja'Cory comes in, that shot at the halftime. That was a big shot for us. Landis. Those guys that came off the bench gave us some big, even the 1 minute that Moses played, came in and blocked the shot. To me, that's the ultimate team.
What you think of Peyton? I mean, he kind of seemed to wear out at the end, but before that he was saying, what you think of him?
Well, they were prepared. Bob Marlin, he does an outstanding job, but his team was prepared for it. They came out and they attacked us, and they made plays. It's like they seemed to get every loose ball. Every break, it seemed like it went their way. They were making threes. But we changed it to the zone, and I thought the zone made them shoot some jump shots, cut out the penetration, and we were able to run out of it and get some easy buckets. But he's a dynamic player. All I heard about him, I had seen on tape, I saw it in person. But the one thing about it is, he played 20 minutes in the first half, and I don't even know if he went out in the second half. Did he?
Well, he actually went off for about 40 seconds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He played. It's hard to play at that pace, and I thought when we ranched the game up, the things he was doing to us early, he wasn't doing to us. We were able to get into our double ups, and all of a sudden now he's spinning, he's traveling. He ended up with 9 turnovers. But then when you look at what else he brought to the table, he kept them in it because Sean Long was in foul trouble. We just made those guys work for it, and hopefully kept the role players where they didn't just have outstanding games. Turnovers, that's the only thing that probably negative for me was the turnovers. I thought we kind of went against the norm and doing some things that we normally don't do. We want to force turnovers, but we don't want to turn over. So 16 turnovers, that's too many turnovers for us. And so we'll get into practice tomorrow and we'll work on it and try to get better. Didn't shoot it well from the 3, but there are going to be some nights like that. But we ended up shooting 50%. Our defense, we only gave up like I said, 25 points after giving up 38 in the first half. To me, that's a sign of a team coming in at halftime and making the little subtle adjustment and finishing the game out. It was a good win.
Coach, the team only took 13 threes and looks like 18 last game, which is lower, I think, than last year. Do you think this team is working harder to take better shots than what you've seen in the last couple of years?
Well, we had 16 assists, and probably could have been higher. I think we're sharing the basketball, and we're an attacking team. We got to the free throw line 26 times, made 20 of them. You just think about it. The field goals are probably about the same for the most part. We had 27, they had 23. But the difference is we got to the free throw lines and we made them, and that's playing attack basketball. But we got some guys we can throw it inside to make some plays happen, and I think that's good balance. We ain't just going to live and die with the three-point shot, but we got to have people knock shots down and space that floor.
Coach, what's going to be like going up against Larry Brown Monday?
Say what's going to be?
What's going to be like going up against Larry Brown Monday?
They had to be Arkansas versus SMU. They're a very good basketball team. They got a McDonald's All-American and Frazier. It's a team that they put together last year. They have the best junior college player in the country, big kid. That's really, really good. You thought we got tested tonight. It's going to be a big-time test. They got depth, they got size, they got athletes. So it's going to be a great ball. But it ain't going to be Mike Anderson and Larry Brown. It's going to be Arkansas versus SMU.